Ah! Okay, so this is just a test real quick before I officially go live. Making sure you can see everything over here and that this is all good to go. Doing my best. Thank you all for joining. I'm trying to test this out. I can see that I'm a little bit crooked. If that is bothersome, please let me know. But it's not like too bad. What do you guys think of this? Is this okay? My doggy's taking over my mat. Okay, deal. I think this will work. I was just gonna do this as a test, but a lot of people have already joined, so I'm excited. Thank you. My name's Elena, and a lot of people call me Lainey, and I'm known as LaynieGanja in the industry and through Colorado Cannabis stores. So what we're about to do today is mindful movement and conscious cannabis consumption. So first of all, can everybody hear me okay? Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is start a mindful and conscious approach to cannabis. So I have with me some smoking devices. If you have something to smoke, please feel free to grab that, get your mat, get comfortable, get some water. And the first thing we'll do is I have my little weed jar here. This is by Vulgar Teacups. It's got my weed in there. So I'm just gonna start taking out some nugs, and I'm gonna begin mindfully communing with the cannabis. So I'm kind of gonna shake the jar a little bit and give it a nice smell. It smells absolutely incredible. And then I might select a nug, and I will look at that nug and just really be present in this moment and looking at this beautiful piece of nature that I'm going to use as an ally in this practice today. So I'm just consciously communing with the plant right now, really activating my senses and getting into my sensual self. As you know, cannabis is a very sensual plant, and it can really heighten all of our senses. So that is one reason why, you know, when you consume cannabis and then you eat food, it is that much more enjoyable. And you know, that goes for other different experiences, like listening to music, or in this case what we're doing today, moving our bodies and getting really deep into our sensual self. So cannabis is a great ally to do that. And to start off, we want to be really intentional with how we're consuming, and we want to be really mindful with the plant. As you know, nature and all these incredible plants that are provided by nature, they do have a spirit and they do have a consciousness that they carry. And when we commune with these plants, we can listen to that spirit and we can tap into that frequency or that consciousness, and that is what this practice is all about. So I have here a beautiful water piece. I love incorporating water into my practice and incorporating that element. So of course, get yourself some nice fresh water for your piece. Always try to be on top of keeping things clean. As you know, you're going to inhale and take a nice deep breath, and you do not want dirty, you know, stagnant water, dusty water that's been sitting around. So having fresh water in your piece is definitely very important when you're consciously consuming and when you're bringing mindfulness into your consumption. So I have some fresh water here. I brought my grinder, so I will go ahead and take a nug, begin to grind that up. And what I also like to do is what I call a nug plug, and that is where I take a little tiny piece and I plug the hole with it. That way the finely ground cannabis doesn't fall through. So I just did my nug plug. Now I'm going to grind this up, this little nug up. And feel free to be grabbing your own supplies and touching your cannabis and smelling your cannabis and really connecting with it and getting prepared to mindfully move our bodies. And the first thing that we'll do is we'll start with breathing exercises. Since we're going to be inhaling the cannabis, we want to really work on our breath and really get into the present moment. Yay. I hope everybody's doing well. We have so many plant spirit allies that we can be utilizing of the natural world that really help our immune system and help our internal function. So I really love to use cannabis and all kinds of different cannabis products, even if it has nothing to do with getting high, but it has to do with dietary wellness. I love to use hemp hearts or, hemp protein powder, CBD tinctures and hemp seed oil tinctures. I even have, hemp oil and CBD in the lotion that I use and in the body wash that I use. So hemp everything over here. Feel free to also set your, setting. So feel free to kind of create a really intentional space for yourself. Maybe play some of your choice of music or good vibes and beats, anything that, really gets you in the moment and just setting up your space. Okay. So I have this packed. Another thing I like to do, I do have some nice cannabis grounded up in this grinder. So I do like to sit and smell that, give that a really nice deep inhale. It has, once you grind it up, it really opens up the terpenes and opens up the smell, and it's just so, so, so very enjoyable. And so what we're going to focus on here, before I even consume, I'm actually going to really focus on my breath. And you can do this by, you can just have your hands on your knees. You could have them on your belly. You could even have one on your belly and one on your chest. And just kind of begin to notice your own breath. And a lot of times we tend to breathe very shallowly in our chests, or we tend to do very just like shallow, quick breaths. And this is a really easy way to stay in fight or flight mode rather than rest and digest. So the way that you get out of fight or flight mode and get into rest and digest is actually through your breath. So what you can do is focus your breathing in the depths of your belly. So the goal here is to take an inhale, and as you take that inhale, your belly is expanding and filling completely up with air. And as it expands, and as I take my deep breath, I might even pause at the top, right as my belly's all full, and I'll take a nice pause before then contracting the belly back in and breathing all that air back out. So let's do a few rounds of these right before we consume, so we can really tap into our own breath and our empowerment by getting our breath so deep in our belly and connecting with our center and connecting with our groundedness. So we will begin to inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause at the top, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, pausing at the top, and exhale. See how deep and how slow you can get that belly or that breath in your belly. So do this a couple more rounds. And this is a really quick and easy and free way that we can all slow down our own racing minds, maybe slow down some rising intense anxiety or emotions, and just get back into our center, slow everything way down, and be a little bit more clear. So now that we understand that type of breathing, we're going to incorporate the cannabis into that breath. So I have my, of course, Colorado Cannabis Tour lighter, and then I have my hemp wick. So this is a bundle of hemp wick made out of organic hemp and dipped in organic beeswax. And this one's a fun little colorful one that has some, natural dye in there for colors. But this is a whole bundle I've had for a really long time. If you're not familiar with hemp wick, I highly encourage it. When we consume cannabis straight from the lighter, we're like scorching the shit out of it and burning a lot of it, and then also getting the fumes from the lighter directly in that hit. So when you can get a nice organic hemp wick flame, this is actually a much cleaner burn for your cannabis, and it's also a cleaner burn for you to be able to take that nice deep inhale and actually taste your cannabis so much better, and really taste the nuance of that cannabis by using this organic flame to dance across the cannabis. So that is what I'm about to do. I'm going to light the end of my hemp wick made of organic hemp. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to begin to lightly dance it across the cannabis. I'm sitting up nice and tall and straight, and I'm going to start my deep belly breathing on the inhale. I'm pausing at the top. My belly is full. And exhale. And what I highly encourage you to do is literally go one hit at a time. It is so common with cannabis and just consuming in general. A lot of people know in America we tend to overconsume, and with this practice you really want to bring mindfulness and consciousness to every single hit that you consume. So you have now consumed that cannabis, you have created the relationship with Cannabis Plant Spirit Ally, and now you can sit with your body and sit with that breath and really feel what the cannabis is doing inside of your body. How is it making you feel? What maybe messages or insight are you getting from the cannabis? And you can really hear the cannabis a lot better when you bring very mindful intention to every single hit. So I'm just going to start with that for now. And at any point in the practice, you can continue to mindfully inhale and take a hit of cannabis as you see fit in your practice and however deep you want to go with it. And everybody's different, you're not a, it doesn't make you any less cool or anything if you just need one hit. You're not like a loser if you don't smoke everybody under the table. So, that's old, kind of ways of thinking, and there's no one size fits all, and we're all different, and you can create the relationship with this plant as is meant for you and whatever is best for you. So after you consume your cannabis, let's begin to activate each side of our body. We have our masculine and our feminine side, masculine being right, feminine being left, and we can activate those sides again using our breath. So this one is alternate nostril breathing. We're going to make this symbol with our hands, and we're going to use the thumb to plug one nostril and the pinky to plug the other. It looks like this. Plug one, plug the other. Plug one, switch, plug the other. That's the mechanics of what we're going to do. So everybody start here. We're going to plug the right nostril with your thumb. And now begin to do that exact same breath where you're trying to breathe really deep into your belly. And we're going to pause at the top. So inhale. Pausing at the top, go ahead and switch to your pinky and exhale through your right nostril. Staying right where you are, inhale through your right nostril. Pause at the top to switch. And now exhale through your left. Go ahead and do this at your own pace for a couple rounds, activating each side of your body. Complete one more motion on each side. And go ahead and release and just sit with yourself and feel what that feels like. Maybe you had a lot more ease on one side than the other. Maybe you favored one side. That is pretty common in the practice. And just observe yourself. Observe yourself without judgment. Take a nice deep belly breath, both nostrils. And exhale. We're going to begin to rise the arms up. Move anything out of your way if you need to. Raise up over your head, down to your heart center. One more time. Inhaling, raise up. Exhaling, down. And let's put our hands on our knees as we go ahead and drop your right ear to your shoulder. Right ear, right shoulder. Taking a nice deep breath in the belly, continuing to move energy, allow flow. You don't really want to sit and be tense or tight. You want to really be breathing and relaxing into this pose, into all poses. I'm dropping my shoulder, so there's space between my shoulder and my ear. I'm not crunching it up. I'm letting that be really nice and breathable. And as you continue breathing, just real slowly, let's begin to roll our head forward until you reach the other side. And let's roll back down and forward, chin to chest, go to the other side. And here is where you can begin to incorporate your arms. And this creates different sensations within the stretch. So I'm going to take, I'm twisted over to my right side, and I'm going to take my left hand and I'm putting it out, and I'm putting it in this like check position. This is creating a different sensation for me and giving me a deeper stretch and elongating my stretch. Making sure to take deep belly breaths. And then you can flip that hand in facing towards you, and you can actually sit on it. This will create another sensation and another nice stretch. So these are different ways you can mindfully move your body, loosen up, just small little things you can do to tune in with yourself, release tension. You can release that hand. Take a nice breath as you roll to the other side, and we're going to try what we did on the right side on the left. Now or vice versa. Now my left ear is to my left shoulder. I'm keeping some distance there, and I'm going to take my right hand and put that out like a check. I'm making this motion. Remembering to breathe, remembering to create space. Being slow and gentle with yourself, not judging yourself. And whatever you did on one side, make sure to do that on the other. So now I'm going to flip my hand in, face it towards me as I sit on it. creating that new sensation. Remembering to breathe, release. And you can release that hand whenever you're ready. Whatever way that you're sitting, whatever foot is on top, go ahead and switch that. I'm going to switch to having my other foot on top or in front. So this is a good practice to do to honor both sides so you don't consistently favor one side. So doing small things like switching up the way your feet are, doing things like mirroring one side with the other. These are ways to really honor both sides and become a lot more agile and a lot more flexible in your ability to utilize both sides of your body and tap into your, masculine side or your feminine side and really have both open and awakened and being used. So from here, I'm going to take my hands and brace them on my knees. As I begin to I'm going to kind of go into C shape. I'm getting this excellent spine stretch. And if you want to see from a different angle, it looks like this. Bracing with my knees. And now I'm going back with my back. My chin is tucked. I'm getting this excellent stretch here. But also remembering to breathe so I don't have stagnant energy anywhere. And so I continue to allow flow. This even feels good on my shoulders. And of course, like we do, we're going to honor both sides. So now, chest forward, chin's coming up, and I'm going to push through to the other side. Head is going back, chin up. I'm even kind of like squeezing in my shoulder blades, taking my elbows, pushing them back. And go ahead and do this a couple of times at your own pace with your own breath. And remember, it's not about what you look like. You are tapping into your sensual self. You are feeling yourself. You're being in tune with yourself, mind, body, and spirit. So truly do not worry about what you look like. And don't even worry about, mimicking me. Just really tap into yourself. Work with your own body. And do what's right and best for you, whatever you're feeling called to. And I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm pushing out one rib and I'm starting to swirl around in a circular position. And this feels really good to me. So if you feel called to do some circulars with this, I'm really awakening my rib cage and my whole torso. Even, you working with my head in these movements. If you need to see what it looks like at another angle, like this. And of course, whatever way you started, now I'm going to go the opposite direction. Remembering to breathe, move energy, wherever it is you're feeling tight. Just breathe into that spot, release, ease up, melt. Go ahead and do some last organic movements, whatever you personally need to do, whatever you're feeling called to here. I'm also going to completely roll my neck around, so if that is something that's feeling called to you, please feel free to do that. Doing some nice full circles here. Of course, honoring both sides. Breathing. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and kind of come back to that center and raise your shoulders up. Inhale. And exhale them down. You are always more than welcome to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose, or if you need to and if it would feel better, you can always inhale through the nose and exhale through your mouth. Whatever you're feeling called to. So let's do the inhale shoulders. Exhale them down. Let's go ahead and start to roll them forward. Rolling the shoulders forward and rolling them backwards. Feel free to spend whatever time you need on each side. Okay, we're going to begin to do some nice twists. So let's go ahead and inhale, raise our arms. And exhale, I'm going to begin to my right, and I'm kind of propelling my arms going down to the right. And I'm going to use my knee as a prop, and then I'm taking my hand behind me and pressing this into the floor. And I have a nice straight spine. I'm lifted up. I'm going to look over my right shoulder. And if you need to see this at another direction, I went inhale, spiral. I'm using my right hand as stability behind me with the floor. I'm using my left on my knee. I'm looking over my shoulder. Meet your body wherever it's at. You know, you do not need to do this very deep. If that's not available to you or if that does not feel good to you, you just meet your body exactly where you're at. Take some deep belly breaths here. Really sink into this position. And when you're ready, begin to inhale and unwind, coming up to the top. And we're going to honor the other side. Now I'm windmilling to my left. I'm now using my right knee and behind me for support. I'm not crunching down. I'm lifted in my spine. I'm turned over my shoulder. And these great twists are like, you know, wringing out a dirty rag. You wring it out and it gets cleaner. It's releasing some debris. You can think of your spine like that, like you're twisting it and you're cleansing your spine. You're resetting yourself. Take some nice deep belly breaths here. If you need to see this another angle. And begin to unwind, lifting your arms, exhaling everything down. Great. So we're going to go into a tabletop position. If you would like to, feel free to grab your cannabis if this would be a nice time to take a little puff. I also have a blunt that I rolled out of a hemp wrap, so I'm excited about this. And the little ashtray that I'm using are these great these great lips that were made at Puff Pass and Pottery, which is another class that's offered at Colorado Cannabis Tours. Okay, with my blunt, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did before. I'm going to use my hemp wick to light it, and I'm going to consciously consume and do my deep belly breath as I do this. And however you're sitting, if it would feel good to you to switch your legs again, feel free. I'm going to light this. And inhale. Belly is filling up. Pausing at the top. Exhale. Put that off to the side. Okay, so now let's move into tabletop, and I think it might be useful to switch my mat. So I'm just going to switch this over. You, of course, do not need to switch your mat. I'm just doing this for visual purposes. So we're going to go into this nice tabletop position. I'm going to try to get my hands shoulder distance apart, and my knees are hip distance apart. And here we're going to do what's called cat-cow. I try to mostly speak in just layman's terms, because mindful movement is something literally everyone can do, regardless of if you are familiar with yoga at all. Mindfully moving your body is available to all of us. So, but this is a yoga pose called cat-cow. And so what we will be doing here, first of all, when you're starting off, you have a nice straight spine. It's not like I'm dipping my belly yet, and it's not like I'm raising up yet. Right now I just have a nice straight spine as if I am a little table. And from there I'm going to inhale as I drop my belly, raise my chin. Getting as nice of a stretch as I can. And on the exhale, we're going to begin to tuck the chin, curl the back. Reaching your back to the sky. Really stretching out the back of your heart. And then inhale, drop the belly, raise the chin. And exhale, tuck the chin, raise the back. Go ahead and do this another time or two with your own breath at your own pace. And I like to end this by going back to neutral spine. And what I'll do is I'll start to look behind me, and this is giving me a great stretch on my side body. You always want to honor the other side, so give yourself a look on the other side, stretch your side body. Maybe do that one more time on each side, breathing throughout the whole stretch. And what I like to do from here is I like to do that barrel type motion. I'm dropping, raising, and I'm going to go in a circular motion. Now so tucking the chin and then rising the chin, tucking the belly, dropping the belly. Do this if this feels nice to you, or any version of this. Of course, honor both sides if you do decide to do that. Give yourself any extra love and attention where your body personally needs. If you just need to focus on the original cat-cow, just do that. Whatever you need. We're gonna Put our feet together, spread our knees, drop our chest down, and place your forehead on the mat. Take your fingertips and walk those up the mat as far as you can. Get a great arm stretch. Allow your belly to breathe deeply in and out and fill up. And with every breath, create more space, create more ease, create more comfort. Just fall into this position, melt into the floor, use your breath, move that energy, create space within you. You can take your hands, put them in a prayer position, and drop that behind your head. This creates another sensation, a different sensation for your arms, maybe even your back. Taking nice deep breaths. Go ahead and release that. Slowly come back up into tabletop. And let's work out our arms by bracing our left hand. We're bracing ourselves and lifting up our right arm to go up and around, maybe even a few times. Really try to reach it far. Open up that shoulder and place it down whenever you're ready. Brace yourself with your right hand as you begin to lift up your left and begin to circle, honoring the other side. Really reach, come back down. Take a nice deep breath, exhale. And on your next inhale, brace yourself with your left, raise the right, and then weave your arm through to do a great shoulder stretch down. Put your ear down on the mat. You can kind of twist your shoulders here. You do have the option to utilize this hand if you'd like to. You can lift up and go around your back. And what that's doing is now I'm really opening up my shoulders. It's not a requirement to do that. You can definitely just stay exactly where you were at. And when you're ready, you're going to unravel. Raise up one more time. And then put down. Okay, now we're going to brace ourselves with our right hand. Take our left hand, raise up, and weave on through. Place your ear to the mat. Use your breath to really melt into this pose. If you went the extra distance on the other side to open up your shoulders, make sure that you do that on this side as well. So you just bring that arm back and around. I'm grabbing my thigh, my inner thigh, and I'm opening up my shoulders. Not required, just do it if it feels good to you. Remembering to breathe the whole time. And go ahead and begin to unravel up to the sky before coming back down to your tabletop. Great job. Okay, so now let's just fall back on our feet, and we're gonna work on working out our fingers and our wrists. So we did a lot of wrist work just now, and it might feel good to take your hands and clasp them and just start to roll them out. Really easy peasy stuff you can do anytime, anywhere, to show your hands some love. We do a lot with our hands, and how often do we sit and nourish them, or, you know, give them some nice lubrication and stretching. This is just a really good way to stay agile. You can go your own pace with this. Whatever feels nice and best to you. I'm also going to utilize the floor to stretch my fingers. So I'm going to take my thumb and my index finger, and I'm kind of creating some, like, this great stretch by putting my thumb one direction and stretching out my index finger, almost like my hands are doing this, my fingers are doing the splits or something. And that feels really nice. And you can do the kind of other direction by just having your hands limp, and you take your other hand and just real gently pull down on your middle finger and create this really great easy stretch for the tops of your hands. Remembering to breathe. And you can sit however feels comfortable to you. You can sit like this, however I'm sitting. Or, you know, you can go back to sitting like this, you know, whatever feels good to you. And you can shake that out. Other hand, just gently pull down on your middle finger. Give it a nice stretch. Remembering to breathe. You can shake that out, do whatever you need to there. And then we're going to use the mat or the ground again. And earlier we were going like this with our hands, so now let's go ahead and flip it. Face your fingers towards yourself and just meet yourself wherever you're at, however far you can go with this. You know, don't like push it or overextend. Just do wherever you're at. Take some nice deep breaths. Anywhere you're kind of tensing up, just breathe, allow fluidity, allow movement, relax into that spot. And we can do this on each side. We can now face the fingers in towards each other and do it on this side. And we can do the tops of our hands. Earlier I was going this way. Now I'm putting the backs of my hands down and going like this. Really stretching out the wrist, giving it some fluidity. You can also put your hands in a fist, if that would feel good, if you need to do that. Roll your wrist. Do any extra organic things for you that you need to do. It's totally normal to crack. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I definitely do. And if you can come to this position, give it a try. And what we're going to try to do here is we're just going to really gently, so my, my shin and my feet, they're all connected to the floor, and I'm just going to begin to slowly go back. Now I'm raising them up, my knees are coming up, and I'm just stretching out the tops of my foot, my feet here. Do that to, whatever's available and comfortable to you. And you can bring your feet out from under you. Put them out front. If you need to, after stretching that one way, feel free to give your wrists a quick circle or kind of like shake them out a little bit. But what we're going to do here is we're going to straighten our legs, straighten our back, take any flesh that's underneath you and lift that up and move that so your bones are directly seated on the earth, on your mat. And the goal is we're going to try to flex so hard so intensely that our feet come up off the mat. So you're just putting all this energy into this flex, and now my feet just came up off the mat. So it was down here, and then flex them up. Keeping a nice straight spine. And then you can relax that. Feel free to go into a point. And flex. And a point. And flex. What we're going to do now is raise up our arms. And instead of curling forward towards my, shins or legs or feet, I'm going to keep a straight spine. So I'm going to start to lean forward, keeping a straight spine, and just stop wherever you need to stop. And do this a couple times if you need to. You can start again, start to go forward. And whenever you're ready, you can begin to curl and put your hands wherever it is that you can go down. So if you need to put them here, thigh, shin, I'm going to go to my toes. And if you can go to your toes, you can utilize your toes for some resistance here. I take these 2 fingers and I curl them around my first 2 toes, and then I pull. I'm actually pulling, and I'm taking my elbows and kind of putting them in towards each other, and I'm still trying to, as best as I can, keep a straighter spine. And this creates a very incredible sensation and a really great stretch. If this is not available to you, don't worry at all. Just literally sit wherever it is that's available to you and just breathe. A lot of this practice is, learning to get able and comfortable to be in a position, not necessarily just quickly do it and move on, but really be able to sit in that position and kind of melt into it and breathe into it and allow fluidity and, movement of energy. So we're going nice and slow, using our breath as our greatest tool to move energy, create space, cleanse ourselves. Wherever it is you feel resistance, just breathe into that. Loosen it up. Just take a deep breath and relax. Okay, and we can let that go. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to go to our backs. Take a nice deep breath here. Let the belly rise and fall. Taking one knee at a time, go ahead and grab it and see if you can hug your knees. I'm going to try to hug each elbow and hug my knee while leaving my spine on the ground. So I'll lift up to grab them, but then I'll settle back down into the floor. And now my spine is connected to the floor, including my neck and my head. So instead of like having my head back like this, I have my chin tucked, if you can see that. Like this. Go ahead and drop your legs, raise your arms, stretch that all the way out. You can even like roll the wrists and roll the ankles if you need to, roll the feet. Take a nice deep breath. And now one more time, let's bring our knees up. Your feet should be at a place where your fingers can touch the backs of your feet, your heels. And what we're going to do is take our right leg and cross our right ankle over our left knee. And I'm creating kind of like this 4 position. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. And on your next inhale, we're going to grab either our thigh or you could grab your shin. So either way, grab what you can and go back down to the floor, spine straight, and just kind of give that a nice little hug. Just hug in that leg, however you can reach it, however you can do it, and start to open up your hips. Using your breath to create space. And we're going to release that. Now take your left ankle, put it over your right knee, and then grab wherever you did on the other side, hug it in. Taking nice deep belly breaths, softening wherever it is that you're tense. We're all at home, and I can't see any of you guys, so if you have to fart, just fart. Better to move that energy rather than keep it stagnant or stuck. So just use your breath, create space, release tension. Just soften up where you can soften up. Maybe take notice to where it is that you often hold tension and the different things that you're tightening. And just soften that right up. Go ahead and let that go when you're ready. You can even fall all the way down to the mat. Take a sip of water if you need. Take a nice inhale of cannabis if you need. Take care of yourself however you need. And just sit here, feel your body, feel your breath. Maybe take notice of any difference you feel now than when you started. Maybe take notice of any difference you feel when you utilize your breath. And also the empowerment that you have when you use your breath and the amazing things that it can do for you. Allow the belly to rise and fall. If you notice your jaw clenched or anything tight, just release that, drop your jaw, soften your forehead, drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth. And whenever you're ready, just roll over to one side, whatever side is calling to you. And real slowly, take your hands, brace yourself, unwind, sit up. Be gentle with yourself. Come back to a nice seated position. Take a nice deep breath. Inhale, exhale. And go ahead and bring your hands to your chest. Take a nice deep breath. And on the exhale, bow your head, chin to chest, and just bow to what you are grateful for. Everything that you have to be grateful for. Any little thing, no matter how big, no matter how small, anything at all. And fill yourself with gratitude. And remember that your breath is something you can do anywhere or everywhere. It's an excellent tool that you have. Remember that mindfulness is something you can do anytime, anywhere, and bring empowerment and clarity and understanding and patience and love and all kinds of things to yourself, no matter what craziness is going on in the world. And that concludes the practice. And I thank you so very much if you joined and if you practiced along. And thank you for showing up for yourself, or even if you showed up just to be curious. Thank you so much. Any of these things are things you can do anytime, anywhere, whenever you need. You just have so much empowerment through your own breath and being mindful and being conscious in what you do and kind of becoming more aware and attuned of yourself and who you are, what you are, why you do the things you do, and also utilize a lot of plant spirit allies that we have in the natural world. So I hope you got something out of this. I thank you all so much. I'm LaynieGanja with Colorado Cannabis Tours, and this was wonderful, and I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe I'll see you next time. Peace, love, LaynieGanja. And my dad, the dog, says bye.